Islam, Islam, Islam. Praise Allah. Honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Honors to all heads of all temples. All praises be to Allah for sending our Prophet Noble Drew Ali. For Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius return. Our forerunner of the Prophet, the John the Baptist return. Brother Marcus Messiah Garvey Bay. Honors to everything that is Moorish, and giving honors to all those who desire to know the truth and the divine truth and willing to make their condition better. For all those out there who don't want to make their condition better, you will receive the reward from Allah for your unjust deeds. But everything now goes back to what is it that you're doing to change your condition, even though the odds are up against you. And we're all in the same situation. Some of us are experiencing foreclosure and everything that is going to harm us is going to divide families, because this is what the powers that be want. This is what they desire. You never know when a situation will arise until you figure out that you wish you had a plan ahead. And the title of this show today is Hate is Riches. Now, the reason why I got this title up, Hate is Riches, because that's all you see. Anything pertaining to like holidays, such as New Year's, raping and pillaging, hanging people, torturing people, torturing the indigenous people, from the Roman Catholic holiday, Valentine's Day, pedophilia, all the way to losing soldiers, prisoners of war, and things of that nature. But we never really understood, why are we celebrating these holidays that we never even came up with, that we say, oh, we're going to do it because, oh, I do Valentine's Day because I love my wife and I want to show her that I love her. Wow, you going to do that for one day out of 7 days in a year? Yeah, that's why I said 7 days, because you can't even say, name the days of the week after Sunday, because it takes 7 days to complete 1 year. But you probably wondering where I'm coming with this, but just think about it. We are so far behind society to the point that the common people don't even think for themselves. And this hate that is being propaganda since the beginning of TV and radio and all this other stuff, you know what I'm saying? And all this propaganda about being going back to so-called Negroes, blacks, and coloreds, going back to Africa where they came from, to raping and pillaging of the Moors who are of Native American descendant, regardless of if you call yourself Blackfoot, Sioux, Cherokee, Taino, uh, etc. But as soon as the Europeans got here, they agreed to this treaty to give them a 50-year mandate from 1786, 50-year mandate, that's 1826. So basically, in other words, for them to come over here, practice a religion of freedom and, freedom of choice and so on and so on, while they take over the land and say that it belongs to them. So if that is the case, to they say that they are a Christian and they practice the Ten Commandments and they follow the Bible, but thou shalt not covet. And that's what the Europeans did. They coveted. They took what's not theirs. But they say they believe in the Bible. They believe in the teachings in the Bible. Then after that, they called first time they ever acknowledged that through their writings and their English literature, acknowledging that we are of Moorish descent. And what people don't understand is that we were already here before the Europeans got here. And then they talking about get off of my land and all this and all that. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people randomly hear about this, but it's time to expose for what it is. Because the terminology that people face on a daily basis, that being black is powerful, and the only thing that the black is consist of is negativity. Blackball means you're being exiled. You're being 86. So how is it that people are trying to make positive negative positive and positive negative? When you call so-called black people Moors, they automatically assume, because they're making an ass out of themselves, excuse the language, but they're making an ass out of themselves, saying that black represents something of derogatory, like Nick Gurr and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, do you really know what you're saying right now? Question in the questionnaire says black, according to science, means death. Negro, a river given in Northwest Africa by Moors because it contains black water. So that tells you, and that's already evident, that the Europeans are not that highly educated, that they did not come up with the language on their own, that while we were there in the year of 711 and defeated 10,000 pale-skinned Europeans, and after cleaning up that town, and man, that was foul. But they don't show no appreciation towards us, because all they do is just plagiarize. They plagiarize our ideas. They take our ideas and they say, oh, well, we came up with the long skirts and the head covering. Sorry, nope, that's already been invented. That's already been taken. Oh, well, we should come up with wooden shoes and we should call them clogs. Oh, nope, sorry, that's already been taken. Oh, we should come up with 3-course meals. Oh, nope, sorry, that's been taken too. We should invent the stove. Nope, I'm sorry, that's already been taken. We should come up with plumbing. Nope, that's been taken. Everything that was created with high intelligence was created by us. But the Europeans don't have a culture to begin with. But yet and still, they're still proclaiming stuff that's theirs, and it's not even theirs. I guarantee you, let's do a survey. Let's look at all the inventions that the Moors have came up with, who are classified as black or Moor, or black, so-called black. You know what I'm saying? Those are Moorish inventions that we created. Let's take all our inventions back and send the Europeans back to Europe and leave them with nothing. The only thing they probably created was something else. I can't identify what it is, but they're not that articulate. Majority of the Europeans will say, who know the truth, will say, no, the Moors are the ones who invented all this stuff. Do you realize that a handful of Europeans, including the Ku Klux Klan, know, including the Nazis, Masons and Eastern Stars, and Jewish people of the synagogues of Satan, know about the Moorish culture, Moorish history, but they cannot tell nobody nothing because they swore a death oath. But when people start understanding that the reason why we have to pay taxes is because we are paying taxes to the rich people so that way we can satisfy their financial deficit and bring upon their families and send them to the best schools while our children suffer indoctrination and falsehood about who created what and all this other stuff. And all they do is indoctrinate our children, especially with religion. That's no different. And if people really truly understood where these ideas came from, they would have a change of heart. But ones just fail to understand where it all came from. A lot of people don't want to study. They want to be confused, but yet still be in a confusion state. But that is pulling the blindfold over the common people's eyes so that way they don't see what's going on. They keep running into stuff like ping pong, or they keep running into things like, you know, going back and forth with rhetoric and falsehood and stuff that doesn't even make any sense. Whatever masters say, oh yes, it's raining cats and dogs, isn't it, boy? Yes, master, sir, it's raining cats and dogs. But yet and still, you don't even think that it has never rained cats and dogs. And if it was, nobody would be outside right now, and people don't even do no thinking. You don't question the person who's in power, because if you question him, he knows that you're thinking, and he gonna put you to death. He gonna hang you. He gonna lynch you. But people don't know, all through the 50 states, there's been a lot of lynching going on. There's been a lot of lynching going on in modern times. But a lot of people don't even televise information. You know why? Because they don't want you to know. He thought burning people alive, burying people alive, people missing and all this other stuff, and taking out their organs and all this other stuff, and selling it for a high value so that way the Rothschild, Rockefellers, and the people who are in power can stay rich. That's why they put the red pink dot on your driver's license. For a donor. And you think it's to help other people? Nope. It's to benefit the rich. Now, I need the brothers and sisters out there to understand. Starting off with generation curse. Well, just like it says in the Bible, the reason why the Israelites fail to worship Yahweh or Allah is because they had their own ideas and they had their own agenda. And it's being repeated through times, through history in the Bible and all this other stuff. While they cursed the Moabites and Canaanites, but of course, Ruth Moabitess is the one who civilized the nation and brought back prosperity to Moab. And she brought law to Moab. She brought the good characteristics of Moab, ancient Moab, that is. And she had children already, but she had another child, Obed. Obed had a son named Jesse. Jesse begot with his wife David. David was also part of the royal bloodline. But all the while the synagogues of Satan are in rule and ownership of Palestine, which the land was never given to the European to begin with, which they took over Saudi Arabia. A lot of people don't know that if you look at the word caveman or cave mentality, you see it doesn't have anything positive about it. And instead of saying caveman, we have modern term like man cave. This is where I have my football stuff. And you carry the energy of barbaric mentality in the Roman Colosseum, and this is how all these ones who are entertaining Caesar in Rome are getting paid. They have to do something out of character that's against their moral. So if they want to be rich, they have to do stuff evil. They have to sleep with men. They have to sleep with little boys. All this stuff is pedophilia. But this is why hate is being put into the system, and especially behind the politics behind closed doors. They don't just figure out law. They say they love God and all this other stuff in Yahweh, but then again, when it comes down to church, it's just business as usual. But yet, still, they're serving two masters. They're serving more of the Satan, the devil, when they sign that contract. That they agree to the terms that we're going to select you as a president, and we're expecting you to carry out this agenda, that agenda, that agenda. And do you know that all these wars were being funded by the Rothschild Rockefellers? Europeans left Europe and saw land of opportunity, the land of milk and honey of Moab in Canaan, which is here in America. America is not coming from a marriage of Vespucci, because America, which represents leader, which is an Arabic word. The word America, a Moroccan, a Morocco, a Morocca, Moroccan, a Moroccan, a Moroccan, Moroccans, Moroccas, which is little beads inside the little thing that you hear to make music. We're inventors of a lot of things, family. But a lot of people who are in power don't want to give us credit for it, because if they expose the truth, that's their life. They gall out their eyes and slit their throats, and cut their tongue out, and put a dime right next to them. And that's all a Masonic hit, because they swear not to tell the truth. But at the end of the day, they know the truth, but they can't tell you. If you ever look at old pictures and old photos, like 1900s and so on and so on. If you look at pictures where they have their hands, their fingertips are basically being hidden, and the rest of their hand is basically being exposed, because they're are deceiving the people with the truth. They're hiding the truth and carrying amongst themselves. Anytime you see a person ball their fist into like a tiger's claw or whatever, and they put it over their chest, their right hand over their chest, that means that they're also conceivers of the light. They put this throughout TV shows like Married with Children, where Al Bundy puts his hands in between his pants or whatever, and that's also a Masonic symbol as well. This also means Mason's distress. And also, when people have two fingers tucked out their pants, and they have their fingers on their belt buckle or covered, and they have two fingers down, that means Mason is in distress. And a lot of people don't know that. They don't know because they don't desire to know. But I can't make it up though. But just so the brothers and sisters out there know, the ones who are watching, especially those Easter Stars and Masons, I know y'all watching too. I know y'all taking heed to the channel. I can see right through y'all. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something about your brother man Morris. Like, I can see right through all that evil through this screen right here. I know what the evil people are thinking. I can sense it. Do you know that negative energy, if it's being put upon you, being pressed upon you, you can sense it? But you have to have a pure heart. You have to have a third eye and not consume food that is going to dumb down your way of thinking, and you're going to be unconscious, and you can't see right through things. You can't see right through people through the evil, because majority of the people in power and majority of the people who are so-called white privilege are the ones who are in tied with the Masonic order and the Jewish community. They all working together. I'm gonna give you a list of things to actually think about. You have first president, right? You have House of Representatives. You have the legislature branch. You have Congress. You have all these ones. Guess what? They're all part of the Masonic order family. They're in agreement with the Rothschild Rockefellers because they're also 33rd degree Masons. You didn't know that, did you? So they're the ones who collect all this money and rape and pillage of all nations and create a banking system to be able to dumb down the people and to take over the land and be able to be dictators of the democracy, to be able to tell you what you can and cannot do on your own land. How is somebody from the last people to be created tell you what you can and cannot do? Now, the book of Job already says it right there. And I shall read it to you again. Job, Job chapter 9:24. Job, whatever you want to call it. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? There it is right there. Again, John chapter 8 verse 44 through 45 says, ye are the of your father the devil, and lust of your father ye will do. He was murdered from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because the truth is not in him. Well, who is he talking about? What group of people is he talking about? The only people that have done that, and I'm going to show you like this. I need y'all to really start thinking, family. Because all these scriptures are connected. They truly are. And you got to be able to cipher what connect what scripture with the other. Okay. Revelation chapter 3 verse 9. I know thy works in thy tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which they say they are Jews, and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. There it is, right there. The synagogues of Satan. Well, let me point out another scripture to you. Matthew 6:24. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will do to the one and despite the other. There it is right there. We have a lot of information here at our fingertips, family. And you cannot sit here and say, I did not know. John chapter 2, 1 John chapter 2, verse 15 through 16 says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Verse 16 says, for all that is in the world, that lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. That goes to homosexuality. That goes to the European powers that be, the Ku Klux Klan. That goes to these ones who are practicing that white supremacy, yo. That so-called white supremacy, I stand corrected. But a lot of people don't understand that these scriptures are actually pointing to those ones who are in rule. But yet still, the oppressor chooses to oppress, but he wants to pick and choose what scripture he likes, and then he imposes that on the people, but he does not know that the Father is not with him, the Father God Allah. Do you know that a lot of people follow what Dr. King has said? What he said is true. He says, my people are exiled in their own land. And the word land etymology means more, M-O-O-R. But again, the Europeans left Europe and they came here and took the people as prisoner of war. And had developed some type of PTSD because guess what? They have no remorse. Over 90% of the Europeans don't have remorse for the so-called Negro, blacks, colors, Chicano, Latino, Hispanic, and the natives of the islands. You know what I'm saying? The indigenous of the islands, so-called Puerto Ricans. Because if they were really just and they were really loving and they were white and they were innocent, then why they creating all this malicious acts and they call themselves white but they're not innocent? What makes a person innocent if a person does evil? But yet and still, you can't even sit here and tell me that this indoctrination of, I'm gonna show you another one. I'm gonna show you another one because y'all ain't ready for this. You're not ready for this. Man, y'all definitely ain't ready for this one. I want the brothers and sisters out there to understand that Yeshua or Jesus did not come to create a church. That was an idea through the Nicaea Council. Jesus was never in the church. He was in the temple disputing with the doctors of the law. The doctors of the law are the Europeans who were in power, who took over Saudi Arabia and create this whole male chauvinism thing. I cannot make this stuff up because you know what? All those out there who choose to serve this pale skinned deity God and their ideology can only save you for so much because you're calling on them, but you're not calling on the great God Yahweh or Allah. I can understand for those people who don't understand and who don't know. You're not held accountable for what you don't know. But for those people who are Masons and Eastern Stars and Ku Klux Klan, you guys already know. And you guys will reap what you sow. But yet and still, y'all don't understand and you never will. Matthew chapter 5 verse 37, let your communication be yea or yea, nay for nay, for whatsoever more than else cometh of evil. I need y'all to really understand. You cannot say yes and then you can say no. It's either you are or are you not. And the only way you can be able to understand the difference. You got to think, family. I can't tell you how to think, but I can give you the blueprint. In the book of 1 John chapter 3 verse 15, whosoever hath his brother is a murderer, and ye know that no murderer hath eternal life abiding in him. The book of John chapter 4 verse 20 says, if a man say I love God, Allah, and hateth his brother, he's a liar. For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, how can you love God Allah whom he hath not seen? So that is destroying the image of his brethren who happen to be Allah's chosen. It goes back to Cain and Abel. We cannot sit here and make stuff up, family. But I got another scripture for y'all. Check this out. This is the one where I have a serious problem. And these are not the words. These are not the words of the book of Ephesians chapter 6, 5 through 9 says, servants, be obedient to them that are your masters, according to the flesh with fear and trembling in singleness of your heart as unto Christ. Not, verse 6 says, not with the eye service of men pleasure, but as the servants of Christ, doing the will of God from heart. This doesn't make any sense, family. Because if you're doing the will of your slave master, and no matter what he does to you, even though you obey him or not, you're still going to get persecuted. You're still going to be lynched You're still going to be put fear into. You're still going to be indoctrinated with falsehood that your slave master loves you. But then again, he hates you because he hates what you're about, because he knows that you're chosen. And the simple fact, you must understand that what our ancestors of Moorish descendant went through, so-called Negro, Blacks, and Colors, Latino, Chicano, Hispanic, and Islanders have went through. They have raped these Europeans, slaveholders, have raped, gang raped, sodomized our fathers and mothers for us to submit. So you tell me, how is that just? So if you obey your slave master and he still sodomizes you, how is that just? How is it lynching you and hanging you from a tree just, when it's all hate? You will never understand the condition until you look into your grandmothers and grandfathers' eyes who've been through stuff in the 1920s. Because guess what? Water retains all memory of the mind. And the reason why so many people act out, because they're rebelling against Satan. And the only ones who are rebelling against Satan is the ones who choose to be free from the bondage of slavery, of the contract thereof. The United States corporation serves nobody no purpose, because they're the modern day slaveholders. They have their agents, the police officers, the sheriffs, the slave patrol. They have child protective services, adult protective services. And what do? They bear false witness against thy neighbor, which is in violation of the 10 Commandments. But they love the 10 Commandments. They don't follow it, but they expect us to follow it. So that is a hypocrite of the United States government corporation, and I condemn the government because they're the ones who are in charge. They're supposed to be looking out for the best interests of the people, but guess what? They're looking at the ones who are in power, the ones who are privileged, and giving them the land and giving them all kinds of loans and all this good stuff so that way they can be prosperous. Took over Norco, took over Louisiana, took over Louisiana Purchase, took over all these lands. And all thing you see is the ones who are in power, and they're telling the people what you can and cannot do. But yeah, and still they want to start fights and pick fights with people, and they're wondering why bad things are happening to them. Their children are being buried at infant age because they're doing evil. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Let your yays be your yays and let your nays be your nays. Anything else is just straight evil. So how are you going to sit here and try to tell me that you're not working hard enough, you're not going to get a college degree so that way you can land a better job? The only way you're going to land a better job is if you basically be slave master's property, his pet, and be able to be sodomized to be able to get rich or die trying. But yeah, still you don't see what the conditions of people in poverty, while the people who are living off the poor people's wealth, blood money that has no value, that's being backed up by gold, and then all of a sudden now they get to have a lavish lifestyle, but yeah, and still they look over their back constantly. But when the things start happening, when they start having a turmoil and hardship, they want to go commit suicide. But yet when our people start being bullied, our people want to commit suicide because there's no justice for us. There's no justice for the so-called Negro, Blacks, and Colors, Latino, Chicano, Hispanic, Puerto Ricans. You know why? Because they look at us as a threat. That's why. We're a threat to their society that they have created through Satan. But you don't see it. But you're going to step foot in their organizations of the Masonic order and swear death oaths and all this sort of stuff to hide the truth from the people. So that means you're the devil himself. And the truth is not in you. You got ones who suffer PTSD. You got drugs being smuggled into the community, but yet until the economic system is being collapsed in the 1960s and 1970s to the point where mother is no longer able to be a mother no more. So now she's cracked out her mind because drugs are smuggled into the community. So now you smell it selling dope and drugs to your own people. So that way the Ku Klux Klan can get a rise out of it and get and jack off because of the simple fact that they're evil. And they waving a banner that don't even belong to them. That's a Confederate banner that belongs to us that the dirty Moor gave to them anyways. They swore a death oath not to tell the Moorish children who they truly were or who their forefathers were, but they are truly Negro, black, and colored folks. The words of George Washington. So they took all this information, bottled it up, and they studied the teachings of what happened after the Moors and everything, and they took upon those teachings and learned law, and they started making little CVC codes and penal codes and all that stuff, because penal codes and CVC codes are not law. But and still, you don't want to understand the situation. You don't want to understand the situation. You don't want to see the situation that your condition could be better, that you were indigenous to the land, and the people who raped your ancestors are the ones who took the land from you, but you don't want to get it back, but you think your condition can't be better because the white man won't let you do nothing. This is why I keep hearing what the so-called Negro, blacks, and colors be talking about. White man ain't gonna let us do nothing. What white man? I ain't never met anybody who is white as a piece of paper. Prove it. Prove to me where the white nation is. He's pale. He's pink. How is he white? Explain. Explain how the so-called white man, white woman, and children are pure in heart. That's why they call them the Puritans, because that represents white supremacy, so-called. But yet and still, you don't even read to study for yourself who are the people who took over Europe. You don't want to sit here and understand why the so-called Negro, blacks, and colors want to marry a Chinese or Korean, because they're the ones who are marrying their own people. And what I mean by marrying their own people is marrying into their own family, because we're the ones who civilized Asia. And that's what makes us Asiatic, because we left North, Central, and South America and we populated Asia. That's why we're Asiatic. That's why we're Asiatic is our race. But yet and still, you don't want to see that. You want to separate yourself from them because this is what the slaveholder told you. But you over here being indoctrinated, but you don't want to study to show that yourself approved. 2 Timothy verse 2, verse 15. Come on now. Yet still hate you getting rich real quick. But yet still you got all these orgies, but all of a sudden a man who sleeps with a woman but sleeps with a man is straight abomination. This is what the Bible teaches us. So the caveman did the same thing. He slept with his wife and then he slept with the man. He wanted to go have his way with a man or a little boy because guess what? He knows that a man can't reproduce himself. The European man told his wife, get out and go to the other to an island somewhere called Lesbos. And you wonder how homosexuality got started. You think Europeans were that civilized to the point where they came over to Africa, Asia, North and Central America, and had all that knowledge without the Moors? But yet, the Moors are the ones who took the Europeans out the Dark Ages. The Europeans did not land on our land and continent. We landed on their where they are, and we civilized them. They didn't come and civilize us. How can you say that like so? So where did they come up with math and science from? Last I checked, the Greeks and Romans came over were just students to the master teachers of Africa and North and Central South America. We allowed them to learn because we had love for the people. But yeah, still, if we learn how to read, they will kill us and lynch us back in 1900s, 1800s. Are you serious right now? If we try to learn and understand law, we will tell them to go back to Europe where they came from. That's why they killed us. That's why they killed our people. And that's why, you know what I'm saying, all these ones who were murdered, buried alive, sodomized, demasculated, the women are being lesbian because they're over here being raped by the woman, the European woman. Everybody's being raped. The babies are being taken away from mama, being put in fear and used as alligator bait. And this is why the so-called Negro, blacks, and colors should not be buying alligator purses and alligator shoes, yo. Because our ancestors are the one who innocent babies, Moorish babies, so-called Negro, blacks, and colors, Latino, Chicano, Hispanic babies were taken from mama by the European slaveholder for alligator bait in Florida in the South. So how can you sit here and got to go audacity to walk around with alligator boots on? What is wrong with you? Do you think? You walk around with cowboy boots on. So now you accepting the oppressor's way of life, his clothes and his teachings. But yet still, you don't want to do the thinking for yourself because you don't even want to sit here try to do rhyme and reason. You want to say, oh, well, this is that. Well, I'm not going to question that because I'm going to stick with that because I'm comfortable with that because this is how you were conditioned through your mind to think that way because you failed to recognize what truth is. You follow falsehood for so long to the point where you don't even know what truth is. But you think your name is Negro, black, and colored, nigga, and nig-er. Which are words I really don't use, family. But yet and still, my brothers and sisters out there need to understand. Stop using the word mayate. Stop using the word Negro. Stop using the word nigga. Nigger. Leave that to the Europeans. Get that back to them. That's not how we talk to each other. That's not how we address ourselves. That's not how we treat each other. We treat each other with love, and we want for the brothers and sisters as we want for ourselves, which is part of the 10 Commandments. Love thy neighbor as you love thyself. Neighbor doesn't really necessarily mean the person who lives next to you. That's also true. But it's a random person you meet on the street because you want for them as you want for yourself. You treat them with, you are a kind person. You have love in your heart. You treat them with kindness because you want the same treatment in return. But you try to do that to the European slaveholder or whatever, and he comes around here. Yep, here comes that boy again. Boy. He got him a girlfriend. Oh, really? That's where that came from, huh? So a boy is a peasant. A girl is a peasant. He and she is a servant to the slaveholder. But yet still, you don't want to exalt your mind to the truth to be able to understand the difference between truth and falsehood because of the simple fact that you have been falsely taught wrong. You have been indoctrinated with so much all this stuff, and all of a sudden now you got a cap and gown, you got all these sashes on you, you got your PhD, you got your master's degree, you got your bachelor's degree and all this stuff, you got your associate's degree and all this other stuff, but yet still you don't even learn nothing about yourself. You don't even learn nothing about your own culture. So how are you going to study someone else's culture and practice his ways and customs where it doesn't even belong to you? So now you have amalgamated, but you have lost your way through the teachings of your own culture and accept his culture. So now these men out here who want to be male chauvinism in the so-called Latino, black, and colored community don't even know how to treat his wife and say, you must stay home and you must do as I told you to do. And if you don't do as I told you to do, I'm going to beat you. That's what's going on. And that's why you have so much domestic violence in relationships, because the man does not know his role. He does not study the Holy Quran in Mecca. He does not study the Bible, because you know what? If you love your wife, you would treat her with kindness. If she have issues and she got problems she got going on, you know what I'm saying? It's your job to be a master of many physicians to tend to her illness, whether if she's being troubled, if our sister's in trouble, forsake her not. If our wife is in trouble, forsake her not. If our brother's in adversity, assist them. If our husband in adversity, assist them. This is in our lesson in chapter 25, A Holy Colored Asiatic Nation. Divinely prepared by Prophet Noble Jurali. And I will recite that. And I don't need Holy Quran to recite because I memorized it. Divine instruction from the Holy Prophet, chapter 25. A holy covenant of the Asiatic nation. Ye are the children of one father provided for by his care. That one father is Allah. And the breast of one mother hath given you suck. Breast of one mother hath given you suck is the land, the nurturing, the food, the stuff they call fruits and vegetables. That the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers. Be united with your brothers. That peace and happiness may dwell in our Father's house. The Father's house is where we domicile at, right? Let the bonds of affection therefore united with our brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in our Father's house. When ye separate in the world, when we separate amongst each other from the temple, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity. Remember your brothers and sisters that you got love and unity with. And prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. What that stranger is a person who does not accept your teachings and try to manipulate you to go astray, or you accept his ideas and his teaching. That's a stranger. A stranger is a person who does not know your teachings and the one who does not desire. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy brother has in hardship, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued unto you all in your love to each other. There it is right there. I can't make it up. I can't make it up. You know why I can't make it up? Because this is part of the lesson. This is the holy covenant we live by. It's all in conjunction. It's all there. It's all true. You know why? Because truth does not change not. If our brother and sisters in trouble with the powers that be, with Washington, D.C., we must assist them because this is what we want for ourselves. When are you going to sit here and understand that black lives don't matter, Latino lives don't matter, Chicano, Hispanic, all these names are due to slavery, Filipino, King Philip? Should I go on? Should I go on? I will go on. You know why? Because y'all need this information. Y'all drinking stuff of carnal things and being drunk, and then got to go audacity, go take something that's pure, like panilla colada, pineapple coconut juice, but you want to put some alcohol up in there. But you don't know what's in alcohol. Alcohol consists of ethanol. It's the same thing that's a poison they use for gasoline. You didn't know that, did you? And you wonder why you whacked out your mind. But you want some more to drink because it tastes good. And alcohol's got you all on your lower vibrations, and all of a sudden, all the stuff that you've been deceiving the people with, all of a sudden now the truth is coming out. This is why one should not be drunkards. This is the book of, I think, Chronicles of Corinthians, one of those. But this is the truth. This is what Allah has bestowed upon me to teach my brothers and sisters that was taught to me by Prophet Noble Drew Ali and his appointed sheiks and sheikesses. Praise Allah for them. Praise Allah. But y'all need to get this information. Y'all need this information. Because if y'all don't need this information, then y'all can leave my channel. But y'all can't do nothing for me. Islam. You don't want to be a true servant of Allah, family. You don't want this. I need my brothers out there to understand what's going on. And I want to expose to y'all why we are all connected. Why the so-called Negro, blacks, and colors, Latino, Chicano, and Asians are all connected. And I'm going to read this to y'all because it's in the lessons. Very important. Very, very important. So I need y'all to be on point and have the ears to hear and ears to listen. Divine instructions from the Holy Prophet. Chapter 45. Divine origin of the Asiatic nations. Instruction 1. The fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nations of North America need to learn to love instead of hate, and to know of their higher self and lower self. This is the uniting of the Holy Quran of Mecca for teaching and instructing all Moorish Americans, etc. Instruction 2. The key of civilization was and in the hands of the Asiatic nations. The Moorish, who were the ancient Moabites and the founders of the holy city of Mecca. Instruction 3, the Egyptians, who are the Hammatites and the direct descendant of Mizraim, the Arabians, the seat of Hagar, Japanese and Chinese. Instruction 4, the Hindus of India, the descendants of the ancient Canaanites, Hittites, Moabites from the land of Canaan. Instruction 5, the Asiatic nations and countries in North, South, and Central America, the Moorish Americans and Mexicans in North America, Brazilians, Argentinians, and Chileans of South America, Peruvians included as well, family. Instruction 6, Colombians, Nicaraguans, and the natives of San Salvador in Central America, etc., including Puerto Rican, Costa Rican, right? Samoa, love the Samoa, got a lot of love for Samoa. Tongans, etc. That means people of those indigenous people. All of these are Muslims. Muslim is the will of Allah manifest in our thoughts. We're the will of Allah. That's what makes us Muslim, not Muslim. 7, the Turks are the true descendants of Hagar, who are the chief protectors of the Islamic creed of Mecca, beginning from Muhammad I, the founder of the uniting of Islam by the command of the great God Allah. There it is right there. Proof right there. So we all are one family. But yet and still, we choose to separate ourselves and call the Asians, the Japanese and Chinese are one race. The Chinese are one race. Japanese is a race. The Mexicans are a race. Who comes up with this diabolical stuff? Y'all, I don't know where these ones be coming up with this stuff. But I notice that every time the people want to start off with nationalities, after they say Mexicans or whatever, then they say the black people. Black is not a nationality. Where y'all getting this stuff? Oh, well, I don't care if you're purple, black, brown, or blue. What is that? What is that? Define those nations, please. Where's the white nation at? Where's the black nation at? Where's the Latino nation at? Where is the so-called Chicano, Hispanic nations? Where are they? And don't say Mexico, and don't say people of Central America and Belize and all that. Don't say that. Because with all true divine records, there's no Negro, black, or colored attached to the human family. ETC. But then again, my brothers and sisters out there don't want to understand. They don't want their condition to be better. But we got ones talking about, I have a dream that we should get out of the United States. What does that mean, get out of the United States? That means remove yourself from the contract. Your birth certificate. Your living trust. They own it. Who is they? The Europeans. The ones in power. That's who own it. The same ones who you made a contract with is the same ones who own you. And you don't even know it. Benefits of white privilege. Oh God, here we go. Spencer versus Dungy case. My client is not a Negro. It's defamation of character, slander. He is a Moor. That's what Abraham Lincoln said. Albert Pike, 1865. Started the Ku Klux Klan. Albert Pike started the Ku Klux Klan. And guess what? He terrorized the people of so-called Negro, blacks, and colors, Latino, Chicano, Hispanic. That's what he did. But the land of America does not belong to the so-called white people. It belongs to the Moors. That's who we are. The so-called Negro, blacks, and colors already have a nationality. It's called Moorish American. Right there. Moorish. Right there. Moorish Muslim. The one who brought us out of that was Prophet Noble Drew Ali, whose picture you see right there, family. He's the one who taught us. Y'all must understand these teachings. But I'm gonna have to cut this live short. Peace and love to you all, and I pray that y'all get these lessons, family. So, y'all take care. Islam, peace and love. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day. For His holy prophet, Drew Ali, Islam.